Hi, I'm Sarah, proud wife to a soldier. That is until 3 weeks ago when he was confronted for stolen valor at a barbecue, leading me to a rabbit hole I have yet to fully understand myself. Anyways, let's start from the beginning. I met Daniel 7 years ago at an airport. He was in uniform, I was running late for a flight, and he held the elevator for me. We talked for 40 minutes at the gate before we realized we weren't even on the same flight. He asked for my number anyway. I gave it to him without thinking twice. We got married 2 years later. Small ceremony, close family, nothing elaborate. He cried when he saw me walk down the aisle, and I knew he was the one. We have 2 kids now, Lily, 5 years old, and Mason, who just turned 3. They worship him, Lily's hero. She learned that word from me, and every single time she says it now, I feel it somewhere in my chest, in a way I can't quite describe anymore. The deployments were hard, 2, sometimes 3 months at a time. Limited contact, careful conversations, the particular loneliness of loving someone who belongs partly to something bigger than you. In the beginning, it was just me holding the house together alone. Then it was me holding the house together alone with a toddler. Then, 2, you learn to be both parents at once, to explain to a 5-year-old why daddy isn't home for her birthday. You learn to record her blowing out her candles and send it to a man you love across a distance and tell yourself it's enough. He always came back, of course. Same laugh, same way of reaching for my hand without looking, same way of throwing Lily over his shoulder while Mason grabbed his leg and the 3 of them collapse onto the couch in a pile. Same Daniel. And not once before the barbecue had I ever questioned that. And speak of the barbecue, my sister throws one every summer. The whole extended family, neighbors, people I half recognize and have to pretend I remember better than I do. Daniel was home between deployments, relaxed, happy. Mason was asleep in the stroller, Lily running circles around her cousins. Good old barbecue vibes. Just a perfect afternoon. Until some guy, Greg, if I recall correctly, arrived mid-afternoon. A friend of my brother-in-law. Never met him before. Took one look at Daniel across the yard, and something shifted in his face. He walked over, introduced himself, and, almost casually, said he thought they'd served together. Named a base, and named a year. Daniel smiled. Said Greg must be thinking of someone else. Easily, warmly, no hesitation. But the guy pushed a little, not aggressively, more like a man genuinely confused, trying to work out a puzzle. He mentioned a commander's name and some particular incident on base, the kind of details I, at that point, thought were not info you could just look up. And the conversation at that point went from having my interest to having my full-on attention. But for some reason, I just stood in my spot, held my ground, and looked at the 2 men, trying to make sense of what could ever be causing such a confusion and why that guy was asking a question after another, because he certainly didn't look to me like he was catching up. He looked like he was fishing for something. And Daniel answered, smoothly, confidently, redirected, reframed, and used the right language for Guy Greg to eventually nod and let it go. And his eyes were not those of someone convinced they mistook my husband for someone else. They were the eyes of not wanting to be a poor guest in a barbecue he was invited to. By the time they shook hands and parted, the whole thing had lasted maybe 4 minutes and looked to everyone watching like a simple case of mistaken identity. Everyone, for some reason, except me. Because the guy's eyes the entire time, and with even more focus, I watched Daniel's. Now, I've seen my husband nervous before. I know what his discomfort looks like. This wasn't that. This looked controlled, practiced, the way you handle things you've handled before and gotten used to handling. He caught me looking when it was over, smiled at me, squeezed my shoulder, and said Greg seemed like a character. I smiled back. Lily ran over and grabbed his hand right at that moment. "Daddy, look what I found," she said, holding up a rock she'd decided was special. Daniel picked her up, kissed her cheek, and told her it was the best rock he'd ever seen. I watched them, and I felt something I didn't have a name for yet. That night, I lay in the dark next to him, and I replayed those 4 minutes over and over. The questions, the answers. Then I thought about Lily calling him her hero, and Mason, who still can't say daddy properly, so he says dada, and Daniel's whole face that changes every single time he hears it. So I dropped the idea. And to be fair, it was baseless. Some stranger guy came and questioned my husband of 6 years and father to my 2 kids. I can't put much stock in that, and I have much more pressing matters to stay busy doing. Jump 3 weeks. Daniel left for his next deployment. I kissed him goodbye at the door the way I always did, and Lily cried the way she always does. Mason didn't fully understand, but cried as well, 'cause why not? Solidarity with his sister, I guess. Daniel held them both for a long time before he let go. I watched him walk to the car. He turned back once and waved. I waved back. And the day after he left, I called a private investigator. I know what I said. I can't be out here suspecting my husband for protecting his country. I am proud of him. Hell, if I wasn't, I wouldn't have married the guy in the first place. But it has been eating me, seriously. For 3 weeks, I've been thinking about one thing and one thing only. The 4 minutes that cursed guy Greg just had to go and have that cursed conversation with Daniel. It's been gnawing at me from the inside, and there was a limit to what I could handle as a practically single mother of 2. And if my gut feeling ends up wrong, which I really hope it will, I promised myself I'd tell Daniel about it as soon as he's back, apologize and make it up to him, whatever it takes. So I gave the private investigator Daniel's full name, unit, deployment dates, everything I had. And she told me she'd have something within a week. That was 6 days ago. She's due to call me tomorrow. And I'm starting to get the sense I might be delusional, because this whole thing is starting to interfere with how I see my kids at this point. And I plan to go see a doctor, or at least a therapist, as soon as I get the investigator's confirmation of that I was just being paranoid. Because I keep looking at Lily and Mason, and all I can think about is that word, hero. And I'm praying, genuinely praying that tomorrow I find out I was wrong about all of it. But the thing is, deep down, I still don't think I was. This has been the first part of the story. New parts drop daily until I probably burn out. Hope you enjoyed and see you in the next video. Stay spicy!